If you're wondering what the biggest tell is that AI has moved from cool demo to serious economic force, it's when the models stop chasing trivia and start chasing molecules.
Exactly. And that's why today's headline is OpenAI launching GPT Rosalind, an AI model aimed directly at life sciences research workflows.
And not in theory. Reuters says OpenAI is already collaborating with clients like Amgen, Moderna, and Thermo Fisher. That's the signal flare.
It's also a preview of where the next productivity wave lands: regulated, high-value knowledge work, R&D, medicine, manufacturing, compliance.
Let's start with GPT Rosalind. When a general AI lab ships something explicitly for biology, that's a strategic bet. The next trillion-dollar ROI is in accelerating discovery.
Reuters describes GPT Rosalind as tuned for scientific research tasks, evidence synthesis, hypothesis generation, planning experiments, and paired with a life sciences research plugin for Codex.
The client list matters. Amgen, Moderna, Thermo Fisher. Those aren't innovation theater logos.
And it changes how teams work. If the model can navigate databases, read recent literature, and orchestrate multi-step tasks, then the bottleneck shifts from finding information to choosing the right experiments and governance.
Business implication. Pharma R&D is the ultimate white-collar assembly line. Massive documentation, high stakes, long cycles. Compress the early discovery phase, and you compound value.
The takeaway for listeners: this is a template. Expect more verticalized models and agents, finance, legal, supply chain, where the product is an AI workflow, not just an interface. Now let's connect that to robotics. NVIDIA is pushing what they call physical AI, Cosmos World models, Isaac simulation, and GR00T robot foundation models.
Translation. The AI world is standardizing the robot brain supply chain. Models, synthetic data, simulation, evaluation, then deploy.
NVIDIA claims GR00T N2 succeeds at new tasks in new environments more than twice as often as leading vision language action models, and that it ranks #1 on Molmo Spaces and RoboArena for generalist robot policies.
Even if you discount the marketing, the direction is obvious. Reliability is becoming the product. In the real world, a robot that's 5% more dependable is worth more than one that looks cooler on stage.
And the partner list is telling: industrial robot makers and humanoid developers. When that ecosystem consolidates on a common stack, deployments accelerate.
That leads right into Mind Robotics, the Rivian spinout that TechCrunch says raised $500 million, with a valuation around $2 billion.
The thesis is factory reality. TechCrunch reports they want to train on and deploy using data from Rivian's factory environment. That's exactly how you close the sim-to-real gap.
So, on one side, you have agentic workflows for scientists. On the other, foundation models and simulation pipelines for machines. Same story. AI is moving from chat to operations. Let's jump to longevity. There's always hype in anti-aging. So I look for two things: mechanistic clarity and measurable functional outcomes.
2 Nature NPJ aging papers this month hit that. First, a study on dasatinib plus quercetin, DQ, showing it can delay early-onset intervertebral disc degeneration in SMJ mice. They report reduced degeneration grades, lower senescence markers like P19ARF and P21, and reduced SAS-P factors.
And importantly, navitoclax didn't work in that model, which means senolytic isn't a magic label. It's biology-specific.
Second, a paper linking aging-associated poor skeletal repair to mitochondrial DNA structures, MTG4, building up in periosteal stem progenitor cells. The authors connect MTG4 to mitochondrial dysfunction, senescent signatures, and weaker bone regeneration.
That's the interesting pivot. Not just clear senescent cells, but target the specific senescence trigger in a specific tissue.
Exactly. It points toward tissue-targeted senolytics, or agents that resolve MTG4 structures, more precise interventions with potentially better safety.
And then we have the market narrative. A Globe Newswire release frames the anti-aging market as approaching $120 billion by 2030 and cites clinical-style readouts. Viking's 14.7% mean weight reduction after 13 weeks in a Phase 2 program, and Longeveron's frailty study showing a 63.4-meter improvement in the 6-minute walk test at 9 months.
We should treat press releases cautiously, but the numbers highlight why investors care: functional endpoints that map to quality of life.
Now the guardrails. If AI is going into hiring, healthcare, and conversations with consumers, Regulation was inevitable.
A Troutman pepper roundup shows momentum across states, Connecticut SB 5 passing the Senate, plus multiple California bills advancing. One example, AB 2713, described as a transparency act focusing on system provenance data and disclosures around training data.
This is where business leaders get caught flat-footed. They think compliance is a checkbox. It's not, it's design constraints.
The same roundup highlights bills around companion chatbots, employment automated decision systems, and healthcare AI use. And Florida returning for a special session starting April 28 to consider an AI Bill of Rights concept.
And Transparency Coalition's tracker reinforces the theme. Disclosure requirements for simulated human conversation, and constraints on AI in healthcare coverage determinations.
So the meta takeaway, provenance and disclosure aren't nice-to-haves. They're becoming default expectations, like privacy policies did a decade ago.
Quick hit 1. NVIDIA's robotic stack is a sign the picks and shovels era of automation is entering a platform phase. Tooling and evaluation will decide winners.
Quick hit 2. Senolytics research is shifting from does it kill senescent cells to which pathways matter in which tissues. That's how you get clinically viable interventions.
Quick hit 3. State AI bills are converging on the same principle. If your system can impersonate a human or make consequential decisions, you'll need disclosures, auditability, and governance. That's the breakdown for today. The stories are moving fast, but the playbook for staying ahead doesn't change.
If any of this hit close to home for your industry or your role, the newsletter goes deeper every week. Link in the description.
We're Marcus Reed and Sarah Chen. This is your AI future. Subscribe if you want to keep up, and we'll see you tomorrow.